Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of Inside the Dressing Room. I'm your host Dhaka. The Bashundhara Dhaka Premier League is at its final stage and the Super League have shaped up very nicely. To talk about all that, we have Daily Sun's very own Mohammad Zubair. Zubair, welcome to the show. The Dhaka Premier League is at its final phase and Super League is going to start very soon. How was the matches? What were the highlights for you, if you could tell us in brief?
Yeah, highlight would be the competition between the teams. Earlier, we used to see very dominant Afghani side, full of national team players, and the reserve players also was national team level players most of the time. But this time it evens out a little bit. A lot of 5 teams are more equally
On the
balanced.
hunt, right?
Yeah, equally balanced, and point table shows that as well. Mohammedan and Afghani, topping the table with 14 points. And you cannot say from five super heading into the Super League, no one can say who's going to win, who's gonna end up champion of the league right now. So that is the biggest plus point. Earlier we used to see Avani so far
Dominating, dominating.
yeah.
Right, Zubair, you talked about quite a few teams, but I would like to pick one, Mohammedan. They were struggling for the last 4 or 5 seasons. 1 or 2 seasons here and there, maybe they were good, but this season they have been consistent and they have the biggest star-studded squad. Apart from that unfortunate Tamim Iqbal event, they had a very, very good tournament, right? What was the success story behind Mohammedan's resurgence?
It has been building up to this year. And they have been putting a lot of money to the big players. Last we can go back to 2022 when they picked all the stars,
right,
including
Shakib Al Hasan, right?
So back in that year, they started investing in some of the younger players as well, who are less unknown, like Mahidul. Now they're at the national side, and Ariful, and he just came out of under 19s back in 2-3 years ago. And they are the mainstay right now, because of the usually Mohammedan have star players, but they don't have the backup to those star players. Right now they have. So we can see some like the other day Abhani Derby, Abhani Mohammedan match. Ariful is Imon played a scintillating knock. He's a lesser known domestic player, but he was into the system and played a good knock. And
so Mohammedan invested the time and the resources.
That came out in the biggest team.
Right. Now let's talk about something that has been going on for some time now. It's not a new debate. It's during this DPL it resurfaced and everyone's been talking about that, including the players.
Yes.
Bangladesh is going to play Zimbabwe from Sunday next. That's the 20th. Players are still playing or played today, the last match of the regular group phases of the DPL, and national teams were involved that too. How does this DPL system or playing in the DPL, do you think, first of all, it hampers the national team process? Secondly, do the players think alike?
Yeah, already Shanto admitted that if we get 2 more days or 3 more days
extra, it would have been better.
But shifting into their white ball to there has been truckload of white ball cricket, to be very honest. If you look at from December, January to Champions Trophy, BPL and Dhaka Premier League, there's a load of white ball cricket that will definitely hamper red ball batting if you are not experienced. And that happened before. Earlier last year, we have the same scheduling issue. We just came out of finished Dhaka Premier League and straight into Sri Lanka series, and we just
that was not a good happy series.
With no time 50 for 6. We are just and Mominul Haq was the experienced one in that batting lineup who overcome that red ball white ball situation, and so you need experience to adjust quickly with those shift.
You talked about Sri Lanka, but do you think the cricket management, the top management, BCB, and also the clubs and the CCDM, they were thinking, or some thought like in this line was in the back of their head, that this time it's Zimbabwe. So Bangladesh doesn't need to put on a very strong side to compete or beat them. Can that be the case of complacency?
Yeah, definitely. But we always prioritize our Dhaka Premier League. I'm not because of the board as well. Our board politics heavily dependent on Dhaka Premier League, clubs culture. So there is always a club versus country debate when this part of the year, especially when Dhaka Premier League teams are playing. So club owners are very dominant. This always been that, but this time as well it's a different vibe. But it always been the same story. But they have some good bowlers as well. You just mentioned Muzar Rabbani.
Right.
Anything can happen in a Sylhet, early morning Sylhet.
And this time Zimbabwe has a strong batting lineup, as I've heard.
And Bangladesh always been in test matches. They are always struggling with their batting. So, experienced player has to step up here to overcome that situation.
Also, you mentioned about the red ball cricket, BCL.
Yeah.
One of the premier tournaments, 4-day tournaments of Bangladesh cricket, has been rescheduled in a very odd time, at the peak of the summer season, and the BCB said they didn't have any options. Just theoretically, I'm bringing this up. Could the BCL had been played before the Zimbabwe series and DPL could have shifted?
That is the ideal situation, but scheduling, we all know this is the first year we put in a new T20 league, NCL T20. Usually that's the BCL spots. NCL starts with our season, first weeks of October, then we get into the BCL. Best team from the players from the NCL plays in that 4-day tournament, and then we get into the white ball stuff into BPL, and then Dhaka Premier League. We finish off our season Dhaka Premier League. That's not the case this year. So because we put on a new 15 to 17 days tournament in just before the BPL, that helps our T20 cricket, but that hampers our 4-day cricket as well.
Obviously.
But they had their thinking was maximum Bangladeshi players plays their test cricket in hot condition, but we play our 4-day cricket in a winter season.
Right.
So that they have some logic, but rescheduling into a too hot season, a prime hot season in June, July, is basically asking for trouble, because we all know what's going to happen. In 50 overs, cricket players are struggling with the heat, excessive heat, and all this. And 4-day cricket, I don't know.
I think they are going to struggle with their fitness.
Yeah, definitely. And players, especially fast bowlers, is not going to be on the show, definitely.
Right. And finally, very shortly, let's look into the Zimbabwe-Bangladesh series. How do you see the Zimbabwe side? Are they going to struggle as they always do in Bangladesh cricket? And they have had a sort of resurgence in international cricket. How do you rate them this time?
Yeah, resurgence in terms of T20 cricket, I guess. 4-day cricket, I don't know. I'm not sure for test cricket what they're going to do. Bangladesh bowling lineup is very experienced, with Taizul and Miraz on the show, and Hassan Mahmood is the pick up their form. Bangladesh's downfall is on their hand. If they score big runs, and Zimbabwe won't have anything to do. That's with that bowling attack Bangladesh have. And Sylhet is a very happy hunting ground for Bangladesh so far. They beat New Zealand over there with full strength New Zealand side, and they've always been competitive with the fast bowlers and spinners, because that's the sporting service they always put on. So let's see how it goes. But they have some good players who can turn things around if condition help them. In terms, we talked about Blessing Muzar Rabbani. He's a gun fast bowler, and Brian. He also had a good last tour Bangladesh. He also shows some of the young Zimbabwe batter also did well last T20 series when they toured in Bangladesh back in 2024. So we'll have we'll look forward to a competitive series, I guess.
I hope so too, Zubair, and you will be there. We'll hear a lot from you from Sylhet, hopefully soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Folks, that was another episode of Inside the Dressing Room. I'll be back soon with another episode, and you keep your eyes on Daily Sun. Till then, you take care.
For more updates, follow us on Facebook, subscribe our YouTube channel, get the latest update on www.daily-sun.com.